Hello, Maddie here. Thank you for coming back for another week, another book here on my channel. Or if this is your first time, welcome. I am so glad you're here. On this channel, we do emotionally safe reads with the Maddie guarantee, which means at the end of your book, your couple will be both alive and together. I cannot guarantee that other bad things won't happen, that other people won't die, but your main couple will be alive and together. We love it. We're here for it. We are just a week or two away from Thanksgiving, and I don't have a Thanksgiving themed book or anything like that, but this book series, it's set in the South, and for whatever reason, that just makes me think of like Thanksgiving, which makes no sense. The two things there's no correlation. They just have been connected in my brain, and I don't know why. Today we're talking about Jane Austen Takes the South series by Mary Jane Hathaway. I only own one of the books. It's the only one really worth owning, but we'll talk about the first two first. First, there is Pride and Prejudice and Cheese Grits. I have very distinctive memories of laying in my backyard at the first place Evan and I lived together in College Station, reading this book and being pretty excited about it because I love Pride and Prejudice. I love Pride and Prejudice retellings, and I had already read my favorite book of the series, and so I was like, great, let's go back and read the other ones. I'm sure they're also awesome. They're not also awesome. This book, it's not Pride and Prejudice. And it's one of those things where I can't even really tell you whether it was a good book or not, because the entire time I was waiting for Pride and Prejudice, and we don't get Pride and Prejudice. Like, that's not what happens. That's not how this book progresses. That's not what happens at all. And so if you're looking for a Pride and Prejudice retelling, that's not what you're going to get with this book. From what I remember, I was just waiting for the story. I did not dislike this book as a book. Like, I didn't get to the end and be like, that was a total waste of my time. I mostly just got to the end and said like, oh, I was waiting for Lizzie and Darcy, and I just didn't really get that. You know, you can read it if you want, but don't expect it to be a Pride and Prejudice retelling, because then you're going to be severely disappointed. When, one, Pride and Prejudice is already a great book, but two, there are really good retellings. And this just isn't one of them. Okay, number 2. Emma, Mr. Knightley, and Chili Slaw Dogs. I don't even know what to do with these titles. They're like kind of rough. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I understand that we're putting we're putting Jane Austen in the South, but it's like Chili Slaw Dogs. That's not even like a Southern thing. That's just like gross. Part of this is I'm not a fan of Emma. She's my least favorite Jane Austen heroine. She's super annoying. I don't like her story. And so getting myself to read a retelling of a story I already don't like was rough. But I did it because I wanted to have read all 3 of the books in this series so I could write a blog about it, and now ultimately a video about it. It's one of those things that is like, if you're a fan of the original Emma, you probably will really like this book. But because I personally dislike the original Emma so much, I really disliked this book. The way that Pride and Prejudice and Cheese Grits was trying too hard to not be the source material, it made it not a terrible book, but it made it not a good book because it wasn't Pride and Prejudice. Emma, Mr. Knightley, and Chili Slaw Dogs is too much like the source material that if you don't like the source material, you will not like this book. If you do like the source material, you will love this book. It is like an exact translation of Jane Austen Emma to Jane Austen in the South. Not a fan. It's not my thing. It's not necessarily this book's fault. I just don't like Emma very much. So that's just kind of like, it's just not my thing. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. Now onto the final book of the series, because this is the order that they're in. It's Pride and Prejudice, Emma, and then Persuasion is the order of the books in the series. They all take place in the same setting, so they show up in each other's books. So in theory, you should read them in order, but it doesn't actually affect anything if you don't. Only real good one, Persuasion, Captain Wentworth, and Cracklin Cornbread. Also like this cover the best. It's just the prettiest in my opinion. I mean, okay, the other ones are pretty. I don't know, maybe it's just the yellow makes me feel happy. This one is the best one, which should not be shocking since Persuasion is Jane Austen's best novel. It's not shocking that the Persuasion adaptation retelling is also the best one. Like, that's just not shocking to me. This one, it's about, oh look, I have little post-its of moments I loved. That's hilarious. That's such a Maddie thing to do. Anyways, so this book is, there's a couple that is separated because He is from a poor white family. She is from a rich black family. They get together in high school. They're wanting to stay together. And at 18, her family is like, no, you can do better. Break up with him. And she does. And then we fast forward 10 years. He is now a successful doctor. She works in a museum. And he is now risen in the social ranks. And her family is like, oh, he is totally worth pursuing now. I mean, that's exactly what happens in Persuasion. So, but it's just taking Persuasion and put it in the South. And it's one of those things where it's like, I didn't like the last book, the Emma adaptation, because it was too much like the source material. This one is very much like the source material, but I feel like it takes enough liberties of becoming its own book that while you're still very much getting Persuasion, Jane Austen's Persuasion, you're still getting your own book. There's still moments of what's going to happen. Is this all going to work out? Like what's going on? Cringy scenes and romantic scenes and heartfelt scenes. They all are there and they're all so enjoyable. Maybe it's just like the titles with like the cheese grits, the chili, and cornbread. Maybe that's what makes me think of fall, and which is like the closest thing I could get to Thanksgiving. Maybe that's what that is. I don't know why I attach these books to fall, but I do. So that was the closest we could get to something for Thanksgiving. So hopefully y'all enjoy them and enjoy these books. I really recommend reading them. Okay, I don't really recommend reading them. I really recommend reading the Persuasion adaptation. This is one of those moments where it's like, I wish I just had people that would just read what I told them just so I could get their opinions. Because I want to know if the Pride and Prejudice adaptation is really as bad as I think it is, or if like that's just something I made up in my head to hate it. Or if the Emma adaptation is actually a good one, or maybe it is a good story, but I'm just hating on it because I don't like Emma. I need a little bit of a sounding board on these things. So I'm not just giving like a blunt opinion that isn't actually a good representation of the books. So I hope you will read these books. Let me know your opinions. Which one is your favorite? Which cover is your favorite? Because it's red, blue, and yellow. Let me know your favorite book, your favorite cover, or if you have any good recommendations that are like, this book is fall or Thanksgiving-y to me. I would love those recommendations because I really like to read something that gets me more in the like fall mood now that it's finally starting to cool down here in Texas. Before I sign off, I would like to ask that you please like, comment, and subscribe. It would really, really, really mean the world to me. I know my channel is small. I know it will probably stay small, but just knowing that I reach even just a few people really means the world to me. Being able to just, be that person that you feel like you can trust what I have to say when it comes to books. It means a lot. So even if my channel's not for you, please share it with people who would like it. And I hope you all have a wonderful, wonderful Thanksgiving because you will not be seeing me again until afterwards. So with all of that, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Hope you have a great night, great week, great weekend, great month, great year. Hope you have all the greats because you're truly worthy and deserving of them. So until next time, 再见. Bye.